Looking to make interactive activities, games, quizzes for the classroom, but this time with Google? Well, stay right where you are. Roll the intro. Welcome back, fellow educators and YouTubers. It's Paul here from RawTech. Now, in a previous video, we looked at how to create these interactive activities, or known as artifacts, in Claude. If you haven't seen that video yet, then do check it out. Some of our schools, though, did say to us that, we're not supposed to be using Claude, so can we do the same with Google Gemini? Well, the answer is yes. So in this video, I will show you how to make these interactive activities, how easy it is now to put these straight into Google Classroom as an assignment. I'll also show you a custom gem that I've built to help you make these activities nice and easily. I'll also show you a quick workaround of how you can collect the data if you needed to. And if you want to, stick around at the end and I'll show you some examples that I've made for our schools here at RawTech. Let's waste no time and let's get straight into it. As an example, I'm going to create a Year 6 activity for a science lesson around electricity, where the pupils will be given vocabulary words and have to match up the definitions to them. First thing is to get yourself into the Google Gemini app. You can see I'm here, and make sure you click and start a new chat. To create these interactive activities, we do need to make sure that we turn the canvas on. So click on the plus, down to more tools, and then select the canvas. Without that on, it's not going to create the interactive activity. Type in your prompt that you want for the idea that you've got. I'm going to go ahead and type my prompt in for the interactive activity and go ahead and press submit. I'm going to keep it on the flash, the quick mode here to create the activity. That should be fine. Everything goes a little bit quicker for me as well. Click on submit. And Gemini will go ahead and build that interactive activity for me. And it happens so quickly as well already. As you can see on the right-hand side, it's starting to build it for me. On the left-hand side, it tells me what it's created so I can see and make sure everything's okay. If something isn't right, I can just type back into the chat on the left-hand side to make improvements. And I imagine your first prompt that you put in is not going to be perfect. You'll have to go back and make amendments. It's not a problem at all. Let's see what we get. And on the right-hand side here, it's produced that activity for us. I did ask for a few things, which I'll point out, and let's see if we got it. I did ask for a kind of electricity style theme in the background, and I suppose we kind of got that with the blue and the yellow and the white there. Not amazing, but it'll do. I also made sure that I asked for the text-to-speech option as well. So if my pupils want the definitions or the vocabulary words read aloud, it can do that, so I can turn that on. I also asked it that once it plays a word, it's not going to carry on with the activity if I don't want to. I just want to hear the words and hear the definitions. So I also asked it that if I click off the activity, it will get off the word. Because a pupil might want to read the definitions out loud, or hear them out loud, and then match up the words to the definitions. Once they've done that, the game's ready to go. They click on a vocabulary word and then click on the definition. I'll turn the speech off for now. So components, where are we? Any part of the circuit, lovely. Let's go to the next one, wire. Perfect, and switch. So you can see that they're not in order as well on the right hand side, which is perfect as well. So it doesn't make it easy for the pupil as well going through. Let's see if I can finish this off and get a score. Lovely. So I get all of them right. It tells me I get all 6 words matched, and I can reset the game if I want to. If I want to put that now straight into my Google Classroom as an assignment for my pupils to use, I can do it so easily now. On the top right hand side here, we have got a share and export option. If I click on here, one of those options now is to share with the Google Classroom. So all I've got to do is click on share with Classroom, proceed, and then choose my class from the list. Choose an action to create an assignment, click go. Here's where I can put instructions if I want to, or keep those verbal. The activity has been put in already. I just want pupils to view the file. Everything's ready to go. I can then assign that activity for my class. I don't even have to come out of here. I don't have to come out of here and put it into a drive and then go back into Classroom and set the assignment. I can just do it all now through Gemini, what a perfect workflow. Let's go and view it in the classroom. Click on view. Here it is in the stream. So pupils would then come to the stream or their classwork, click on the assignments. Pupils will then just click on the activity. It will load into a nice full screen, as you can see here, for them to complete. That activity that we just had a go at had a pretty intense prompt. I put a lot of detail in there, so I made sure that first time around it came out exactly as I wanted. But I don't really have time to be writing out those prompts like that over and over again. Teacher time is sacred. I haven't got that. So we're going to use a custom gem to build these activities. I'm going to head over to my gems section on the left-hand side of Google Gemini. This is where it stores all of my gems. Basically, gems are just those prompts that you've saved so you can reuse them over and over again to create the activity nice and quickly. Here it is at the top, Pupil Interactive Activity Generator. I'm going to click on it so I can start using it. And it gives me some instructions or details here about what the gem's about. It says create activities for your pupils. It says say hello to start, and it says remember to turn the canvas on, because remember we need the canvas to create these activities. I will leave it off for a second because I have written into the gem a little bit of a reminder. Let's try it. So press hello or type in hello, and it does say straight away at the start, it says, whoa, before we move forward, please ensure that you have turned the canvas mode on, otherwise we can't generate these activities. So I'll go and do that now. Click on the plus, click on more tools, click on canvas. It asks what year group you're in. Now it can be any year group you want. Because I support primary schools, that's why in the brackets it's saying EYFS to year 6, but you can put any year group in. The subject and topic, and then the learning objective if you've got one, and then where the activity fits. Is it the start of a lesson? Is it the main assessment for learning task, homework, or even assessment activity? I'm going to paste in some instructions here. So it's for a year 4 activity this time. It's linked to the subject of maths or mathematics, and it is the timetable facts, because here in the UK in year 4 the pupils have to complete an MTC, a multiplication times tables check, and I'm going to put it as the main activity, and I'm going to go ahead and press submit. The gem is built to make suggestions and recommendations based on what you input, so you haven't even got to think about what activity you want to use for that different subject or year group or topic. It will make those recommendations for you. Now this gem is currently built towards the UK national curriculum, so already it knows that year 4 is a really good option for times tables, because as we do have here in the UK, the multiplication times tables check, which is going to be useful for our year 4 pupils. So already it suggests underneath a similar MTC game. If you don't want to choose one of the recommendations underneath though, if you've already got something in mind that you want to create, you can override that and you can just type in exactly what you've got in your mind that you want to create as well. Underneath it will also give you some other options to consider. Do you want just one version of the game, or do you want 3 different versions for different abilities in the classroom maybe? What instructions do you want to have on the actual activity, or do you want those off and instead give the instructions verbally? What game features do you want? Do you want a score? Do you want a timer? Or do you want to remove those to remove all that fear and anxiety? And then what type of accessibility features do you want as well? So do you want a text-to-speech button for our pupils too? Let's go ahead and fill the answers in for the prompt here. And on the right-hand side, it's created that for me, just in the same style as the MTC, 25 random questions, 6 seconds to answer each question. 3-second pause between each one. Click on start check. I can use the keyboard as well, which is great. Pop it in and you can see the kind of timer going down there. This is absolutely perfect. I can click on here as well and pop the answers in. Let's try and get one wrong as well to see what happens. Let's put 22. And it's not going to tell me I got it wrong, but it is showing me a progress score at the top there as well. But hopefully at the end, it will show me a total score as well. Let's have a little look. I've gone right through the quiz and done all of the questions and got some wrong on purpose, honestly. And it tells me my score. It's not great, doesn't fit in the circle. It might fit in the circle when it goes full screen. But it does also tell me what questions I got right and which ones I got wrong, and then what the right answer is as well, which is cool. And I can go ahead and try again on that. If you think that custom gem is useful for you and you want it, then below in the comments say, give me that gem. And if I get enough interest, I'll pop the gem link in there and you can add it to your Gemini and you can use that and start to make your own interactive activities for the classroom too. At the moment, this score is not going to be saved anywhere. There's no way of doing that within Gemini. So there is one workaround, but it does mean we've got to come outside of Gemini, but I'll show you how you do it. So in the top right-hand corner, where we go to share and export, you click on copy contents. We'll then have to go to our trusted old Canva. I mean, I use Canva for so many different things and it's so useful. And again, this is one of them. I'm going to go down to Canva AI on the left-hand side. I'm going to go down and click on code. I'm going to go ahead and paste in what I took. And it's basically all the code to make the exact same game we've just made on Gemini. I'm going to press go. Then it will start to make the exact same game we saw a moment ago. You might be saying to yourself, well, why should we build this in Canva? But I think that because we can build the activity straight in Gemini and export them straight into Classroom, unless we really, really, really want to record the data, this is the only time you bring it into Canva. It's designed the exact same activity. Here's the one in Canva, and here's the one in Gemini. The only thing is we haven't got any way yet of getting pupils to put their name in and recording their score. That's the only change we're now going to make. In the left-hand side box, I'm going to add that in. I've typed in, add a field for a name and store the score data. It's now told me that it's going to add a name entry field and save scores to a Canva sheet. So at the moment, we haven't got that data sheet at the top. But once it's finished, that data sheet will be there. It now makes those changes for us. I've got a field to put a name in and I've got that data sheet. Next thing I do is click on publish. Go ahead and give it a subpath title. Remember, in the site URL address, don't put the name of the activity. This is something that should stay the same over and over again. So for me, Raw Tech Training, for you, maybe Oak Class, Year 9, Year 10, Mr. G, whatever it is. So subpath will be the MTC Year 4 for my pupils. Go ahead and publish this. Once the website has finished, I click on copy. I could check that first before putting it in Classroom. It loads perfectly. Let's go to Classroom next. Classwork, create, assignment, MTC, test. This time click on link, paste the new Canva link in, add the link, put it into my maths topic for my pupils, assign the activity. The pupils will get given the activity. Click on the assignment, load the link. Let's have a quick go. I'm just going through the activity here and it looks so much better on a full screen. I can see the progress nice and clearly. Right, all completed. Again, the score's gone over the circle. That's something I could probably go back and sort out in the original prompt. But let's go and see if the score has now been saved in Canva. Back into Canva where I created the activity, I can click on the data sheet here and then click on the Canva code data version 2 here. Click on it and it will open up. And you can see there's Paul and I got 23 out of 25. So a much better score this time around. And that's a really nice way of keeping the data if you need to from your Gemini activity. If you set the tasks for the pupils and you want to come back to Canva to find the data sheet, just head to the home page and under your recents, it will be the sheet there. As you can see, click on it and it will load the sheet. You don't have to go in through where you built the activity in Canva code as well. Another thing to consider is once you've made your activity, you might want to store it into your Google Drive. And the Google Drive will already make a folder called artifacts for you. What you will do is on the share and export option, click on share via drive, click proceed. If you load your Google Drive, you should find a folder named Gemini Artifacts. And here is where it will store that artifact when I do say share via drive. This will be a nice way of then storing these to reuse them within Google Classroom or even sharing with other colleagues. Finally, let me just show you a couple of example other activities that I've already created. I won't show you all of them, just picked out 5 that I quite like. The first one is a mathematics activity. We've got the learning objective in the top here to recognize and explain equivalent fractions. The pupils have to start the challenge and then work out if that's an equivalent fraction, true or false. If they say true, They have to explain how they know it's true, and if it's correct, it'll explain why it's right, and if it's wrong, it'll explain why it's wrong as well, and they can go through that one and it will give them a score as well. The next activity is also a maths one, to identify multiples of given numbers, and it's all about hunting out the multiples of that number. They start hunting, so they've got to find all the multiples of 3. So they'll click on the ones that they think are multiples of 3, and then once they finish the kind of grid and they think they're finished, they click on check answers, and it tells them which ones they got correct and which ones they missed as well. And they can work through on different values there as they go through, which would be quite nice. Let's just pick some random ones and see what happens. Click check answers, and again you can see I got some right, some missed ones, and some wrong as well. The next one's for our year 5 pupils here in the UK around online safety. They're going to come across 8 common situations they might face when online. They read each card carefully and then choose the safest, most responsible response. I've also put an option in to read all the options aloud for our pupils too. Click on Start Challenge. They read the scenario and then they choose the correct card. Let's choose B and see what happens. And then it says, that wasn't quite the safest choice, which one was and why, and then goes to the next situation as well. The next one's for a year 6 class. I used to always teach year 6, and one thing I wanted my pupils to understand was formal writing. So this is all about looking at different text and working out which one is the most formal against which one's the least formal as well. Great for our SPAG tests and things like that. Start the activity. They read each sentence, pick which one they think is the most formal, the semi-formal, and the least formal. Then they check the rankings, and it tells them which one they got right and which one they got wrong, and why that ranking was in that particular order. And no activity would be complete without my timeline in history. And here I've got a Roman Britain timeline builder where the pupils are told what to do here in the instructions, and they're given 6 events here to put in order. They can move the order along with these arrows. And then once they've chosen the correct order, they check the timeline to see which ones they got right and which ones they got wrong. It explains the timeline, and it also asks them for a final reflection point here about which do you think was the most important event that changed Britain. A perfect one there for our history lessons in building a timeline too. Hopefully by looking at some of those examples, it gives you some ideas, but also shows you the breadth of what you can create on Google Gemini. If you can think it, you can probably create it. I mean, Gemini struggles with certain images, but with activities as simple like that as you saw, it creates it perfectly. I really hope you found that video useful. Thank you for watching as always, and we'll see you next time.